All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me tonight on our Texacoin presentation. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. I'm going to share my screen and we are going to talk about Texacoin tonight. So, real quick, hopefully you guys can see my screen and we are going to start right from the very beginning. And as you can see here, oh, there we go. So tonight we're going to be talking about Texacoin, right? And we are going to be talking about honest money. And there's going to be a lot of information presented here tonight, but what you're going to be able to see is a lot of documented facts are going to be able to back up exactly what we're saying. And by the end of this presentation, I believe everybody watching this presentation will be able to see the long-term vision of what is going on here and be able to take full advantage of what we have to offer. Before I begin, this is a common thing that I have to do, and that is basically say, there's a disclaimer here, right? This is not financial investing or tax advice. Presentation is for educational purposes only. You always want to consult a professional when it comes to money and investing. Individual results are not guaranteed, and the figures and shown talked about are not guaranteed what you will earn. And of course, as you all know, success does depend on many factors, including individual effort, time invested, and market conditions. So in the end, this is not a guarantee of income, but what you guys are going to see, you're going to love. So the reason why we're here, right, is to kind of explain, right, why consider crypto. So before we talk about Texacoin, we just want to talk about how we got here and why crypto is becoming such a mainstream topic and why people are jumping on board with the idea of cryptocurrency, right? And an alternative to what you are looking at right now. And it is based on inflation. Every single person on here on this Zoom tonight, or whoever watches this in the future, will not be able to debate what we are experiencing. Every single time we go to make a purchase, we are feeling the effects of this screenshot right here, right? And that's because in 1913, right, we have the Federal Reserve that was created, and all that did was give a central bank the ability and the power to control our money, right? And we are now seeing the effects over 100 years of what happens when you give a governing authority the ability to print money anytime they want. And all that does is, as you can see over 100 years, it diminishes our purchasing power. And basically, our dollar does not go as far as it once used to. And we are all feeling the effects of that. So, real quick, we talk about cryptocurrency. That is the solution. Crypto is the future. Digital currency is the future. And here's why. And this is really geared toward the beginner, the novice person that comes and has no idea. They don't even know about Texacoin. They have no idea how cryptocurrency works. But this is just a real quick synopsis of how cryptocurrency works, right? It's complicated for some people if you're a beginner, but it's also very powerful and it's transparent. So basically, it's a new transaction that's created. It gets put into this block network of computers. They solve this difficult mathematical equation. Once the computer, the network solves it, right? They receive a reward. It's like a proof of work reward. And once that happens, the reward or the completed transaction goes into this cluster, this block, right, of this chain of blocks. And then basically it just passes through and it gets put in to what we call the blockchain in the chronological order that it was completed. And then we have the finished transaction, right? It could be complicated, but when you break it down, it really is simple and it's transparent. It is honest and it's there for everyone to see. 100% transparency. It cannot be altered. It cannot be edited. It cannot be deleted. And there's usually a fixed amount and supply. For instance, Bitcoin, the most famous coin in the world, as you know, has 21 million Bitcoin. There will never ever be any more. It is not money like printed money. They just can't go out and print more and make more and kill and destroy the purchasing power. It's a fixed supply and circulation, and we work within the budget that we have. It's something that a lot of people really, really appreciate because our government, our country, we need to learn how to work within a defined budget. That's what cryptocurrency is. And here's a great example, right? This is a shock to a lot of people. Here's the price of a home. Same exact home, same materials, everything apples to apples, exactly the same. And look as an example, 2016, that house, the average price of a house is $288,000, right? In Bitcoin at that time, it would have cost 664 Bitcoin. And look what happens over a 10-year period. Well, all you can see is inflation brings that house increased value up to $434,000. But look at what it would take in Bitcoin, right? If you were a Bitcoin believer in 2016, right, and you believed in something that everybody else laughed at, and you took advantage of Bitcoin as an early adopter, look at how much it would cost you. 3.7 Bitcoin would be able to buy you a house that you would have to pay $434,000 for. That is incredible. And by the way, this is mainstream. As you guys know, there's a Genius Act that was passed in July, which basically is really pushing crypto to the forefront, right, in our country. And here's a perfect example, by the way, right? Jamie Dimon here, he's a billionaire. You know him from JP Morgan Chase. It was only 5-6 years ago. He told employees, if you go and you buy Bitcoin, you are fired. All right? It's like Donald Trump, you're fired. Now, he obviously is jumping on board. They are buying Bitcoin and they're obviously celebrating Bitcoin. Same thing over here. BlackRock, right, now holds $87 billion in Bitcoin, 3% of the total supply. It is becoming where banks, institutions, and people that really never understood and they didn't believe it now are true believers, and they are trying to scoop it up as much as possible, right? So now let's talk about a specific currency, cryptocurrency, that we are all in love with, and we get to see the long-term vision of what's going on here. And we're going to ask, why Texacoin? Well, first of all, it is mined exclusively in the great state of Texas, right? One of the very few crypto projects that is based on U.S. soil. It is liquid immediately. That is a really big sticking point for a lot of people with crypto. They want to make sure, hey, can I get access to this? They want to make sure they can cash out. It is 24/7 via DEX trade in the US, Bitmart internationally, right? And also peer-to-peer transactions. You can send this back and forth, right? It works just like Venmo, PayPal, and so on and so forth. There's also favorable regulations on cryptocurrencies, as we know, like we just talked about the Genius Act. And as a matter of fact, while we're talking about that, there are also 401ks are now, right, allowing crypto. If you go and you apply for a mortgage with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, guess what? Your crypto assets will now be included to qualify for a home loan. I mean, we've come a long way in a very short period of time. And not only that, but here in Texacoin, we have cold storage coins. So we actually custodian our own coins and our own funds. There is no central bank, right? There is no Federal Reserve. There's no institutions that are taking our money and doing something else with it. And again, 100% transparency. And check this out. You guys are going to love this. We're now obviously in mid-September, and this is a little bit of an older slide. Check this out. Much profit potential via momentum. Texacoin started the year at 12 cents, and look at this. Now is $2.13 as of August 3rd. Guys, we're in September, and I'm about to show you, if you don't already know, it's a lot higher than that as we speak here in mid-September, right? Again, disclaimer, this is not financial advice, informational purposes only. When you talk about a crypto project, you have to start with the one who is the visionary, right? And we have the ultimate visionary that is running and running this ship, right? We call it the rocket ship, right? This is Bobby Gray, and he has an impeccable track record in the industry, right? This is him in 2012, invited by Ron Paul to testify before Congress about community currencies, honest money, a roadmap to monetary freedom. He envisioned in the future there should be a community currency that can challenge the dollar because of the problems with inflation and the dollar, right? And so this is almost 20 years in the making for him, right? This is not his first rodeo, right? He obviously has seen this for years. This is his life's work. And not only that, this coin right here, the most famous coin in the world, did you all know, Bitcoin? Guess who is the one who created the logo for Bitcoin? Bobby Gray. His company is also the one who produced the physical Bitcoin. He was in the gold and silver business before he woke up and realized digital currency is the future, right? And he is the one leading this ship. And you're going to see in a second, this rocket ship is definitely taking off. So this is the other thing a lot of people want to know. People hear the word cryptocurrency nowadays, and there's a 4-letter word that they think right away: scam. right? And that's because there's a bunch of meme coins and crap coins, and there's a bunch of crypto bros on Discord sharing what they think is going to be the next thing, and it's a pump and dump, and and it gets a really bad rap. Well, you're not going to find a lot of crypto projects where you can actually go out and visit. You can go out and visit the sites. They have three physical mining sites right now that are basically producing these Texacoins. And in fact, these are state-of-the-art machines, right? This is immersion cooling, which is not what Bitcoin is doing. As a matter of fact, in Texas, Bitcoin has mining facilities that many residents, right, are signing petitions complaining about the noise, the environmental factors that are troubling, and they're creating. This is done energy efficient, quietly, right, in contained shipping containers. I was going to show you in a second, right? This is the wave of the future. Texacoin is way ahead of the future as far as being able to produce cryptocurrency. And by the way, this is one of those shipping containers. I believe there's like 50 right now that are in transit to be placed at our mining sites, because obviously we are growing very rapidly, right? These are obviously some of the fog hashing mining equipment. And again, state of the art equipment and machinery is being used for this project, right? So let's talk about the actual cryptocurrency, Texacoin, right? We call it the golden goose. So we ask, would you want the egg, right, that actually is produced, or would you want the golden goose that lays the egg every single day? That is what Texacoin
Well,
is.
when you go
We have
to-
we put the power in the hands of the people. This is designed to grow, right? And the early adopters win. And that's it. When you act, you get in now, you stay ahead, you get to secure your nest egg with Texacoin, right? And it's really where liberty meets legacy. And I'm going to explain later on exactly what I mean. When we get our Texacoins, we get them every single night as part of being a miner, right? And it's an incredible thing. So passive income, right? We all want to know and we all want passive income. It is the ultimate form of leverage. It allows you to earn money while you sleep. That's what we're doing at Texacoin. We earn money while we sleep, and we get to focus on things that really truly matter to us, like spending our time with loved ones and family and doing the things that we want to do while we sleep, right? This is happening while we sleep. And cash flow, again, is the most important word in the world of money, just like Warren Buffett says. The second most important word is leverage, and that's what we're able to also do with Texacoin. So, by the way, this is not just made up out of thin air. What you're looking at is a physical cold storage coin. This physical cold storage coin is something you are going to have in your hands as a Texacoin miner. Once you become a Texacoin miner, a couple weeks later, you receive this physical coin, and you have the ability to scan this and actually download your cold storage wallet, right? And that keeps your coins safe. In case anything ever happened, your coins are safe in the Texacoin cold storage wallet, and you get to just basically sit back and you get to collect and watch coins being deposited into your account every single night without fail. And when you talk about growth, right, and momentum, you're seeing it right here. Bobby Gray is not fooling around. He is putting his money where his mouth is. There are hundreds of billboards throughout the state of Texas, but it goes beyond that. It's not just Texas. There's billboards in Florida, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Louisiana, and I'm sure there are more. I believe Ohio. So it is growing rapidly, and he is advertising and promoting and marketing this coin throughout the country. And in fact, also throughout all the major Texas airports. Now, this kind of made me chuckle because again, this is a little bit of an older slide. But take a look at this. $1.02. When we were at $1.02, this was being advertised, right, in Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, and I believe Houston airports, right? What I'm going to be showing you in a little bit, right? It's going to be an eye opener because this was impressive when it was $1.02 and it was showing us up 3,540%. It's gotten a lot crazier since that, right? And by the way, when we talk about his track record, as I mentioned before, he was invited by Ron Paul in 2012 to testify before Congress. And by the way, a really funny story. Bobby walked into Ron Paul's office, and it just goes to show you who Ron Paul was and the influence and the impact that he had on Bobby Gray. Because Ron Paul, at the time, in his office, as a senator, I believe at the time, he had a sign that says, "Don't steal. The government hates competition," right? So he was all about honest money. Bobby Gray is all about honest money. So he was actually invited back, right, to be a guest and a sponsor at Ron Paul's 90th birthday barbecue just last month. And as you can see, he was one of the main sponsors, Texacoin, right? Very, very cool. Going back to your roots and so on and so forth. So Ron Paul had a tremendous impact on him, and Bobby Gray obviously never forgot that and continued to thank him and wanted to sponsor and speak, some really, really kind words about him. And by the way, we're not just in airports. We're not just on billboards. This has gone pretty viral. It's gotten really, really, really crazy if you haven't seen it. MMA fights, right? Not only MMA fights, but Texacoin will pay to have your car wrapped, right? Now, you got to have a nice car. These are nice wheels. You got to have a nice, newer model car. You got to go through the approval process. But Texacoin will wrap your car. They'll pay for it to be wrapped. So you can basically be a driving billboard for them. And not only that, you see this little license plate right there? You can go ahead and you can get a Texit license plate. I believe it has to have the word Texit included in it, or something with TXC. And if you do that, right, and you get approved and you do that, they're going to give you 100 hash, which is the equivalent of $1,000. They're going to give you an extra minor to have a license plate with Texit on it. And by the way, there are other advertisements, by the way, and other marketing promotional things going on as we speak, right? As we're sitting here in mid-September, we just signed deals with Texas University, the Longhorns football team. That's 100,000 people packing that stadium that are going to be exposed to Texacoin every Saturday. Also, TCU football, same thing. We are a sponsor of their pregame show, and they're exposed to Texacoin, right? And all this leads, and by the way, there was a meeting recently with the Dallas Stars hockey team, as well as a meeting with the Texas Rangers Major League Baseball team. Texas sports meets Texas crypto, right? So again, past performance is not a guarantee of future results, as I said, but this right here has been well documented. This is Bobby Gray's handwriting, right? This is from his personal notebook. This is what he said was going to happen, what he predicted would happen over a year on his now famous Path to 16, right? Well documented journal. And you can see every single month he was correct. As we go down every single month, we hit or exceeded every single price, right? And now we are in September, right? And this is where he went wrong. This is where he got it wrong. See, he said it was only going to be 275. It's a lot more than that right now. So we are well on our way, well past his earliest prediction, right? And I'm going to show you that in a second. So here we are. Now, we were going to do this Zoom last week, and unfortunately, there was a tragic event in our country. We got it canceled. We postponed it out of respect. But as you can see, last week when I was ready to host this Zoom, this is where we were. We were at $3.12. And what that means is this project was up over 5,000%, right? If your financial advisor helped you gain 5,000%, you are buying them the finest wine, Christmas presents, birthday presents, anniversary. You're sending them incredible, incredible gifts, right? Now, this was just last week. This is today. In 1 week, we have now gone up over 4,000% and almost doubled in 1 week. This is what we have our hands on, folks. We have a rocket ship. We have the next big thing in crypto. And again, this is not financial advice. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results, but common sense and logic come into play, and you can't argue with numbers and data. So the people that see this, the people that saw this, and the people that saw the concept and the long-term potential and the vision and took advantage of this, right, are now sitting on generational wealth, right? Just by taking an opportunity to look, listen, and take a chance and a leap of faith. And by the way, some of the biggest cryptocurrencies in the world, we know Solana, Bitcoin, right? Ethereum, and of course, XRP. XRP is all over the place. Everybody is in love with XRP, including this guy right here. However, take a look at the chart. Again, numbers don't lie. Look side by side 6 months ago. If you were to say, hey, I'm going to take a chance on this TXC thing. Look at the return you would have right now versus XRP. Would you want 39% or would you want almost 1200%? Right? Same time frame, 3 letters, just very, very different results. Okay. And by the way, all right, past performance is not a guarantee of future results, but just look at these charts, right? Look at these numbers between May, June, July, again in July. Uh, Look at these numbers and how they just keep on growing, right? It's incredible. And by the way, um, this isn't just for members only. This is not, private members only type of thing, right? Bobby Gray wants to make sure, there's a lot of skepticism, a lot of cynicism. There's a lot of scams, a lot of rug pulls. There's a lot of bad apples that have come and gone in the crypto space, and they're out there right now. There's probably 90% of crypto projects that, are not 100% transparent and a lot of things that go on that people don't know, and it makes people really nervous. And some things are very, very questionable. Well, Bobby Gray didn't want to do that, right? He has a track record in finance, very, very transparent. He's been fighting for this for 18 years. So what he said was, I'm not going to hide anything. We have corporate Telegram channels where he posts the pictures, the screenshots of all the receipts, of all the equipment, of all the advertising, of all the marketing. He wants every single miner that comes in here, he wants them to see all the receipts. He wants to see all the proof. And he wants the general public to see the stats for themselves of this entire project. So this right here, mindtxe.com/statistics, this is a public facing website that anybody in the world can go, and they can go and they look at this entire project. And by the way, I think now, this was just like this was like last week. Now I think we're at 27,000 or more. And you can see it's around 10,000 in just in the last month or so. It's exploding. The community is exploding. The price of the coin is exploding. And it all makes sense because the vision and the utility just makes sense for Texas. Okay. And by the way, people ask, well, what if I want to take this and I want to obviously, I want to sell it. I want to cash in. I want to take some profits. And Bobby Gray has been very, very, very clear and adamant. He wants people to sell some of their TXC, right? Everybody wants to hold on to their Texacoin because they know what's coming in the future. They know this could be the next big thing. They don't want to let it go. Bobby Gray is asking people to let some of it go. He wants the market to be liquidated. He wants people to be able to buy Texacoin. And if there's not enough on the open market, people can't buy it. And how do you buy it? Well, how do you sell it? This is how you would do it. From Texacoin, you would send it over to DexTrade or Bitmart, depending if you're in the US or international. From there, you would send it over to one of the exchanges. And then from there, you can get it right over onto one of the crypto cards, or you can just go ahead and send it over to your bank, right, as cash. Now, these processes take a little bit more because these are smaller exchanges. And by the way, we just got approved for 3 more exchanges. These exchanges will be coming in the near future. As long as this continues to grow and explode, we will be seeing these exchanges in the not so distant future. So buckle up. It's going to be a great ride. Okay. Options, right? These are your mining options. Now you can go all the way from 1 to 9. We just highlight 3 of them, but you can go by 1 miner, 2, 3, all the way up to 9. So if you bought 1 miner, it would cost you $995. That would provide you 100 hash power. Right now, as we speak, 100 hash power would basically generate about 1 Texacoin every single night that gets deposited into your account without fail, where you can go in, log in, and you can see your reward every single night. You can also buy 5 miners, and the promotion right now is if you buy 5, they give you 1 free. So you're getting 6 for 5. Or if you wanted to go big, you would buy 9 miners, and they're going to give you 2 for free. So you'd actually get 11 for 9, which means that's 11 times the amount of coins that you'll be getting with 1 miner. And by the way, when we say 1 miner, what that means is you're going to be receiving, again, 1 Texacoin on average per night. And right now, as you just saw, that's the equivalent of about $6 per night. Not bad. And by the way, here is kind of how it all works as far as, the setup. You do not need to know anything about cryptocurrency, right? You don't need to know about how all the hash rate works, the hash power. You don't need to know about the mining equipment, the immersion cooling. What you need to know is that you are okay with having coins sent to your wallet every single night passively. If you're okay with receiving money and coins, then you are in the right place, right? That's all you do. You basically are able to sign up. You possibly will be able to need to reach out to the person who shared this with you, who introduced you to Texacoin. They can walk you through the entire process. But then all you do is you sit back and you collect coins, right? And you can hold for appreciation or you can liquidate if you want to take some profits. That's totally up to you. And there are also referral bonuses. When you share this, you can even earn more or you can even earn USDC. But again, that is an optional program. But what I want to show you is this. This is the power of Texacoin. You are looking at daily transactions, right? And right now we are sitting as we speak. This was just a little bit before this Zoom started. Around 596 is the current price, right? Look at all of these transactions, right? They're mine. They're mine. So, full disclosure, this is my account. This is what I'm receiving on a daily basis. And when I started, right, when I started just 3 months ago, this was maybe only $5 that I was receiving on a daily basis. But this is what happens when you accumulate coins over time every single day and you have an exploding growth in the price of the coin. These numbers start to duplicate and multiply. So even if Texacoin goes up 2 or 3 times, you get 2 or 3 extra money. It's not 2 or 3x because what you're doing is you're actually collecting coins every single night. So it's compounding growth and accumulation. It explodes in value. And you are seeing it here firsthand. Somebody that went from just getting $5 a night with everything that's going on is now receiving over, basically around $120 a night. That is the power of mining TXE. And by the way, I don't want to go into this too much. If you decide you want to share this, right, it is a lucrative opportunity to share it. You have to see the vision. You have to obviously understand. You have to love the idea of passive income, and you want to try to help others get passive income as well. If you do decide to do that, you could share this with people, and if they see it and they want to come on board, they become part of your organization. And that's it. You can put them on your left, on your right, and then it's simple. Every single miner that is purchased equals a point, and they go basically towards your credit. If you get 3 points on one side, 3 points on the other, you just made a cool $1,000. If you get 6 points and 6 points on each side, you made a cool $2,000 for the week. And if you're fortunate enough to get 9 points on one side, 9 points on the other for the week, you make a cool $3,000. I've done that several times, or many people have done that throughout this company. And it's great addition to also collecting passive income. But again, it's totally optional. Some people don't want to share it, and that's perfectly fine. And by the way, if you do bring in 3 people, you share it with 3 people, you call it 1, 2 free. What they're going to give you in the month of September, they're running a special promotion. If you bring in 3 people, you're going to get an extra miner. So that's an extra 100 hash, which is basically the equivalent of an extra coin every single night. On top of that, they're also going to give you 100 TEXITcoin, right? Right now, that's almost $600 as a bonus. It's pretty impressive. But again, optional program. Okay. So what do you need to do? These are the next steps. We encourage you to get involved. If you love what you saw tonight, what we presented, right? All you need to do is reach out to the person who shared this with you, who introduced you to Texacoin, right? And they will be able to help you kind of get a hold of this and obviously run with it and see exactly how you wanted to take advantage of this incredible coin and this incredible opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing right now. All right, we're going to go back. And I just wanted to thank all of you for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out with the person who introduced you to Texacoin or share this video with you. If you have any specific questions for me, please feel free to message me. And again, thanks for joining me tonight, guys. And we'll talk soon. Take care.